Alright, this is a quick 8th grade lesson on something we're going to see on the MCAs. Recently we've been talking about this form of an equation, which is well, if we read it out right, it's y equals mx plus b, or y equals m times x plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y intercept. And so m is our slope, b is our y-intercept. Remember, that's where our line would cross the y-axis. Okay, now what the MCAs are going to do, at least a couple of times, or at least once I would say, is they'll probably give us some equation that's like this. This is what we call the standard form of an equation, and it's, to me, in my mind, or at least the way my mind works, it's a little harder to work with than that form of the equation. What our goal is to turn this equation into something like this, or at least this form. So going from standard form to slope-intercept form, and that's our main goal. So what the MCAs will do, and you 8th graders saw it today, is they're going to give you an equation, and then they're going to give you like 4 choices, and they're going to say, okay, which of these 4 choices is this equation in a different form? So being able to turn it back and forth will be something we want to see, and we're going to work on it some more tomorrow. But we at least want to get through and show you how to do this. It's basically like solving for a variable, and that is what it is, except for we're not going to solve for x and y. We're just going to try to get y by itself. We want y singled out on one side of the equation, because that means we have everything in terms of x for y. So whatever your input is determines what y is, and that's how we end up graphing it, and it's a lot easier to work with. So what we want to do is take this and turn it into some form like that, where we have y equals slope times x plus or minus your y-intercept. So that's our main goal here, which is why we want to solve for y. So we're trying to get y, highlight that, by itself. So we have a couple things that we need to do for that. Alright, whatever we do to one side of the equation, remember we have to do to the other. So, first thing we want to do is get rid of this 3 times x. We want to get rid of this first. And this is a positive 3x. So what we want to do is the opposite, or the inverse of that, to get rid of it. So if we subtract 3x here, 3x minus 3x, that's going to be 0. Okay, and that's good. That's what we want. We want this to cancel out with this. So now we're only left with a 4y over here, and we'll get to that. But we subtracted 3x from this side to keep the equation balanced. We also have to do that over here. So what do we have left on the left side? We have 4 times y equals 12 minus 3x. Okay, so do we know what 12 minus 3x is? No. And that's because we don't know what x is, and that's fine. So we just leave it like that. Now we see that our next thing to do to get y by itself is we have to, well, we have 4 times y, we do the inverse of multiplying, and we will divide by 4. Yeah, let me use a different color actually. Alright, so that's our y. Sorry. Let's do black works. We'll divide by 4, and then we see that these cancel with each other. You're left with 1y, or just a y. We also have to divide by 4 on this side, but we have 2 terms. So that means we have to divide both terms by 4. That divided by 4, and this divided by 4. So what do we get for our next step here? We have 1y left, y equals, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. And here we have negative 3 over 4. This is fine, 3/4, it's a fraction. So it's minus 3/4 x. So now we have y by itself, and we have everything over here in a good form. except for the fact that we usually put the slope first. That's the form that we have it in. So all we have to do is switch these two around to make it look like that form. So let's do that. We'll take this, I'm going to put it up there. So this is a positive 3, that means plus 3. Y equals negative 3/4 x times x plus 3. So this equation and the one we originally started with are the same thing, except for this is in standard form and this is in slope-intercept form. So see how our slope is negative 3/4, and our y-intercept would be at y equals 3. That's where it would cross our y-axis. And this for slope would mean over 4, down 3, rise over run. Alright, that is actually all I'm going to have time for, but we will work more with this tomorrow, and I at least wanted to get one example out there to check out. Thank you.